this goes way back for me. I love The Office, and that's where this idea came from. The Office calls them the Dundies. I started a fantasy football league years ago, so I made an award show, and I called it the Drewskis. We're at the Bucks, 2 Buck Sports Show now. We may call them the Buckskies. I don't know.
Ooh.
But what we're going to do on today's show, as our Memphis Grizzlies topic, is we are going to give out awards. We're going to do your typical awards, your MVP, most improved, all that kind of stuff, defensive player of the year. We're going to do all that stuff. We're going to get the boring stuff out first. But then we've come up with our own awards. And they're going to be crazy. They're going to be off the wall. And a lot of them are going to take some explaining for you to understand what exactly we're talking about. Yeah. But we're going to get to it right now. It's a segment that we're going. Do we call them the Buckskies, Rusty?
I like Buckskies a lot. Let's like Drewskis had its place in our fantasy football league. Now the Buckskies, and if you get one of these awards, expect a trophy in the mail.
Yeah. So we're going to start with the housekeeping first. Your prototypical awards. First, MVP, most valuable player. Oh, and these are only Grizzlies. Okay, it's all Grizzlies. So most valuable player, most valuable Grizzly this year. Rusty, who's yours?
It was Jaren. He carried this team when Ja was out. He played really well, limped to the finish, but the majority of the season, Jaren Jackson Jr. was the most valuable player for this team for setting the stage, closing out some games, and carrying this team when no one else would for the second year in a row.
And I knew you would take that, so I thought of a different angle. And it's the same argument we had earlier in the season. Who's better and who's most important is two totally different topics.
It is.
And the most valuable player on this team is Ja Morant. And it will always be Ja Morant. And the reason why the Grizzlies were so incredibly mid this year was because your most valuable player didn't play like he should have. Yeah. So my MVP is Ja Morant. And it also the reason why the NBA MVP should be Nikola Jokic. Because look at that Denver team without him.
42-22 last night against Oklahoma City, and coaching, being the first player coach since like Twiddle Fingers McGee for the White Sox in 1927.
It's probably was Bill Russell a player coach?
I think he might have been back in the day. Yeah. Oscar Robinson, one of them was.
Yeah. All right. So you have Jaren from MVP. I have Ja. Next on my list, I didn't do them in any particular order. Most improved player. Rusty?
Shelby's losing her mind in there. My most improved / comeback player of the year was Brandon Clark. I like that. Like, I feel like this could be kind of go a few different ways. His game took another step defensively for us this year because he was the one closing out on MLK Day. He was always in the right position at the right time on defense. I'm going to give it to Brandon Clark.
See, this was a no-brainer for me. I didn't even consider Brandon Clark for this one. It's Scottie Pippen Jr., the player that Rusty didn't even want on a full-time contract.
I never said that. I said I wanted him later.
He didn't even want him. He didn't want him. I was on board. Give him the full deal. He was whatever. He went through peaks and valleys, but what happens in the postseason is the most important characteristic that you can have in Uncle Buck's ledger. That tick in that ledger, we got to see it this year for Scottie Pippen Jr. You saw a lot of the season without Ja. You saw him go with he peaked and he had some pretty low valleys, but he figured it out in the postseason against the best team in the NBA. And so that's why Scottie Pippen Jr. is my most improved player of the year.
Solid
comeback
argument.
Player is different though. You did, I would say BC's a comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and I just like for me, I saw like an evolution in his defensive game and just another echelon that he got better in for me.
All right. One of the handful of teams in the NBA that can actually debate who the coach of the year in a single season is the Memphis Grizzlies. So, Rusty, who's your coach of the year?
I mean, it's Thomas Isolo, man. Like, he did the ultimate saboteur job. Like, he sat on the bench and he coached and he was there, but he was clearly the head coach in waiting. Had Taylor Jenkins looking over his shoulder the entire time. Just a master class in sabotage. Give me Isolo as a coach of the year.
Listen, only one of these coaches had a winning record. Only one of these coaches is the winningest coach in Grizzlies franchise history. only one of these coaches died by the knife in the back of his assistant coach and general manager.
And that's Brute. It's the E2 Brute Award.
Brutus, and the Brutus Award goes to T.I. And the Julius Caesar Award goes to Taylor Jenkins.
Just ask me about my Defensive Player of the Year now. Go right ahead.
DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you got, Rusty?
It'd be Taylor Jenkins. He was the ultimate defender of Zach Edey getting the Rookie of the Year award. He was the ultimate defender on the court multiple times, getting caught out of position at the time stripe, having to play defense a little bit. He ultimately derailed Ja Morant's season. He was the ultimate defender of the Memphis Grizzlies. Give me Taylor Jenkins as my Defensive Player of the Year.
That's one way to look at it, I guess. All right, well, I'm going to say Jaren. Jaren / Scottie Pippen.
Just know, we're already going off the rails here with the Buckskies. It's only going to get worse. So if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube. Tell us we're buffoons. Tell us who you think should win these awards. Like and subscribe while you're here hanging out with us.
Yeah. All right, next. Again, one of the few teams in the NBA that can have a debate. Rusty, Jalen Wells or Zach Edey or Cam Spencer, who is your Rookie of the Year?
What's frustrating is I want to give it to Zach Edey, but because of the argument I made in the previous award with Taylor Jenkins being the ultimate defensive player of our own team, I got to go Jalen Wells, being coming from the second round, the 39th pick, to being a every game starter, your go-to defender against the other team's best players. Like, it's Jalen Wells, and it's not close. Big shout out to Taylor Jenkins, because this would have been a much healthier debate had he not been petty and benched Zach Edey in January.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the only one we agree on. So much can be said for Jalen Wells about exceeding expectation as a 39th pick in the draft.
And it's still not enough.
Yeah. If he doesn't get clipped out of the air by KJ Simpson at Charlotte, he plays how many games did the Grizzlies play this year? 88. He plays 88 games, you know? And so he was good. He was put in the starting lineup when he shouldn't, and no one expected him to. And he held it. He didn't just get it by default, but he kept it.
And I think he's a huge reason we moved off of Marcus Smart, because we had Marcus Smart at home. I don't agree with the timing, but I think that's a big reason why Marcus Smart lost his job is the emergence of Jalen Wells.
Jalen Wells is also my Rookie of the Year. All right, the last one. This is more like an ESPY type award that you see in the ESPYs. This is Play of the Year. Highlight play, whatever play you want to think of.
There was a few, so I narrowed it down to two. Asking me to have one was hard because there were two that really. As soon as you got to
pick one, and then I'm going to pick one. Then you can give your honorable mention.
I'm gonna go off the rails here. For me, it was GG meeting Giannis at the rim. When he met Giannis at the rim with that big block and just shut down one of the best dunkers, in-game dunkers in the game, from a guy whose defense rivals Santi Aldama for the Matador Award, I'm going to give it to GG for the Play of the Year.
Okay, that's fine. All right, mine is it's the only play that popped in my head. It was the Ja Morant putback dunk in the second play-in game against Dallas.
That was ferocious.
It's just an absolute monster of a dunk. After we thought he was going to have his leg amputated in that first play-in game against Golden State, for him to miraculously come up 7 foot in the air and throw down that putback, it gave me hope for the playoffs. Because at that point, not a lot of hope, but I knew we weren't going to be able to do anything.
But an ounce of hope.
Yeah, and we knew we weren't going to do anything without Ja. And so the fact that I think it was early in the second quarter, he threw that down.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, okay, maybe.
Okay, we're good.
maybe. All right.
My honorable mention was the 360 layup against Brooklyn with Ja, where he starts to spin on one side of the rim, spins and reverse lays up on the other side. I mean, it was the third most viewed play of the NBA season on social media. It was awesome.
And we lost that game.
I know. But basketball in November doesn't matter. Anyway, I digress.
All right. So this is where we're going to get a little weird, okay? Yeah. We've created our own awards. You don't know what these awards are. You've never heard of these awards before. So, Rusty, give us your first Buckets Bucksky.
My first Buckskey is the NASCAR sponsorship award, because NASCAR pulls out all these sponsors from all around the world to be painted on these cars. And so
I just want to take my Mountain Dew Chevy.
That's it. If I am the Memphis Grizzlies, my sponsor of the year is the Waffle House for giving Taylor Jenkins those Waffle House menus that he looked at on the sidelines, because he clearly wasn't looking at any kind of spreadsheet to help him play winning basketball or coach winning basketball. My NASCAR sponsor of the year is the Waffle House.
Okay. All right. You're a Cubs fan. You're gonna like this. And it's not Bartman related at all. This is the John Lester Award. For those who don't know, John Lester, Cy Young winning left-handed starting pitcher.
Amazing.
Pitched for a long time. He pitched a long time for the Cubs.
Won a World Series with the Cubs. Won a World Series with the Red Sox.
But you know what he had? Everybody knew he had the yips. And he could not do one thing. He could throw the ball with precision to the catcher. Yeah. But you knew that if you got on first base, John Lester was not picking it off, because he could not trust himself to throw from the pitcher's mound to first base or the second. And so they would just lap the bases like they were in Little League, because they knew that John Lester just wasn't going to throw.
Mm-hmm.
This award goes to Luke Kennard, because for some reason in this season, he just quit shooting the basketball for an inexplicable reason.
Yep.
So the John Lester Award for not being able to do what makes you good, goes to Luke Kennard.
I love it. My next award is the Danny DeVito Award. So Danny DeVito is a much loved Hollywood figure. He's pocket size. He doesn't do anything like super great, but like it's hard to find somebody who hates Danny DeVito. He is one of the most well-liked character actors there ever was. I loved him in Twins. He's great in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He was in Matilda. He's been in so many great movies, but he's never like the lead guy, right? Like he's always like a background character, and he's small and he's well-loved. So for me, Yuki Kawamura is the Danny DeVito Award winner, because he's not really great in anything, but we love him anyway. Like cult-like following, much like Danny DeVito.
Yeah. All right. Well, Yuki comes up later. Okay.
Yeah, I got one for Luke coming up here in a minute.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep going. All right, this is the Benedict Arnold Award, presented by Uncle Buck. He tried his best, and he's a traitor to the United States and to the country that he serves. And that's Zach Kleiman. I mean, there's nothing about it. Just if you think slimy and conniving, just watch that press conference and watch Zach Kleiman. He totally screwed the pooch from before the season even started. Yeah. Everybody wants to hate on Taylor Jenkins, and yes, he crumbled under pressure, but that pressure was placed on him completely and totally because Zach Kleiman got too big for his britches. He cut him. He neutered him before the season started. He pitted players. Players had to pick a coach to support, and you knew that Taylor was a lame duck from the start. Yes, did he struggle under pressure? Absolutely. But it is my honest belief that if Taylor Jenkins just retains his staff and is allowed to have business as usual, that this team does not go through the turmoil that it goes through. And the turmoil is what derailed the season more than the coaching did. And so that is the reason why Benedict Arnold Award goes to Zach Kleiman.
Yeah, I mean, some might say that competition behind you, in football, like they bring in like the young hotshot behind you, it makes you perform better. Taylor Jenkins sunk like a rock.
I think that's a good point. And that's the reason why they say that the most popular player on a football team is the backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't make him the best quarterback.
I just made an observation.
I know. I get competition may brood, into
make you better. Some people
excelling further. I'll get that.
And then others it's going to put others is going to make their stank worse.
I said he did not handle the pressure well. That was something I said just a minute ago. But I just don't think that it was necessary. So
yeah, clearly I made a good point there. That plucked a nerve with the Taylor Jenkins supporter here. But
I'm just right.
Moving. That's all we're moving right along. I've talked enough about that buffoon for one season. So Drew and I grew up in good Southern Baptist homes. Like we grew up in the Deep South in the Bible Belt. So this is an award that speaks to both of us. Growing up, we were always in the church every time the doors were open. So my He is Risen Indeed award goes to one G.G. Jackson, who didn't let something silly like the NBA playoffs get in the way of being at church in his pastels on Easter Sunday. Because you know what happened. The boy is 20 years old. His mama called Zach Kleiman and said, Mr. Kleiman, I don't care what he does. Oklahoma City, I don't care who it is. He's coming to church in South Carolina with me. I'll see you there. And Gigi went to church instead of the NBA playoffs. So my He is Risen award goes to Gigi.
You know what? Do you know what? I didn't watch that game either. It was Easter Sunday, and we were playing Oklahoma City at 2:30.
He said, I got pastels to wear and drums to beat. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I like that award a lot. I like that award. I do. Gigi was knee deep in tater salad when we were down 50. I guarantee it. Yeah. Oh, no doubt. The big potluck Easter dinner after the sunrise service, or the big breakfast after the sunrise service. Mm-hmm. You know, at the graveyard. That's what my grandma's church used to do. We meet out at the graveyard. Because one day we all shall rise. You know,
I get it, but Lord, that's a bit morbid.
I mean, this is like 70-year-old Southern Baptist folks. They don't always have the greatest outlook on life. So, all right. My award. This is my favorite one. I do it at the Drewskis. Back when we did the Drewskis, it was my favorite one that I led every single edition of the Drewski Awards off with. And this is the Al Gore Award. Al Gore, most famously known.
I have won this award many times.
Yeah, Al Gore, famous for his climate change initiatives and all this kind of stuff. But if you don't remember, back 25 years ago, he ran for president against George W., in which he won the Electoral College, but did not win the presidency. He won the popular vote, but did not win the Electoral College, therefore making George W. Bush the president. So this is an award that is given out to the person with the most points, but still loses. And this award goes to Desmond Bain for his 44-point performance against, I don't know who, but we lost.
Insert any team here because we lost several games.
And it could go to Jaron Jackson Jr. as well because he had a 40-point game the next day and also lost.
And Scotty had 30-something points against Oklahoma City, and we lost. So, like, this could go to a lot of different players. That's a crowd favorite. Most
loss. Al Gore Award goes to Desmond Bain.
Every team needs that bright, shining spot that you can look to, and you'll see that beacon of light casting hope for the team. That's going to be, you can follow that light in the darkness. And it's two guys who struggle with a problem similar to this. The Bucks' best bright spot goes to Jay Huff's bald spot that would shine on television, and you knew when he'd come in, if there was a certain gleam off that bald spot, he was going on a heater and going 4 for 6 from beyond the arc. But if that thing was dulled and polished over, you might as well send him back down because Jay Huff was not going to be involved. So our best shining spot goes to Jay Huff's bald spot this year.
Okay. How many more you got?
Well, I got 2 more.
All right, do one more.
All right, so my next is, it made a very brief but impactful appearance this year. And so it doesn't take Red Panda, goat. It doesn't take a lot to make an impact. But my Mustachioed Marauder award goes to Santi Aldama's mustache that we saw for 2 games, and that lip sweater was disgusting. And then he came back out looking like a child when he shaved it off. But the first thing that happened when he pops on my TV screen with that mustache, Maggie goes, "Oh no!"
Ooh.
The Mustachioed Marauder is Santi Aldama.
Yeah. All right. This is my last one. Listen, we're all fans here, and I just want to give an award to the best fan that I've seen, interacted with on Twitter, seen anywhere around. I mean, it's a long. Like I said, we played 88 games this year. Many of us watched all of them, and we're invested in all of them. And there was one fan that inspired me more than any of them, that always had a positive attitude regardless of how badly we were getting beaten, or just did not let the controversy and the arguments spill onto the court or to the social medias, or it just never changed his outlook of just being happy to be there. And this award, I call the Fan of the Year award, goes to Yuki Kawamura. Yuki is just the best because it didn't matter what was going on. He was just happy to be here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just constantly just learning new terms, new slang terms in American.
Yep.
Getting some playing time,
Yep.
once in a while. Just happy to be here. Nobody was happier this year in just a decrepit season than Yuki Kawamura.
Yeah, Maggie said he was most likely to end up on a T-shirt because half the team had him on a hoodie or a T-shirt or something. So I'll go my last award, kind of in the same vein of yours earlier. The most likely to close all his rings on his Apple Watch, just out there getting exercise, getting his cardio in, wearing out his Fitbit, goes to one Mr. Luke Kennard. Luke is in the best shape of his life because he didn't have to worry about shooting. He was just running up and down the court, getting his steps in every night. I'd love to see what his Fitbit data looks like on a game day. That fool's probably got 31,000 steps and no points. And it's the most unpressured situation in the NBA. Luke Cardio Kennard running out there, getting his steps in for the Memphis Grizzlies. That's our episode of the Buckskies. You got anything else?
You could also give him the Sir Isaac Newton Award because he did discover gravity. So
that's fair.
As Tomas told us, it's about gravity.
Yeah. I mean, we could also there's a Mighty Mouse Award for our littlest best warrior going to Scottie Pippen Jr. The Doak Walker Award in college football is given to the best running back who's not a quarterback. Could be Desmond Bain. There's a lot of Buckskies out there, but we gave you our best list. Let us know what you think. If there's any awards you want to give the players, let us know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe while you're there. Drew, it wasn't the season that we'd hoped for, but we hope that the players enjoy their Buckskies that they got today.